no Uniswap, no decentralized exchanges. The wallets are all of them in 2015 and 2016 were dog shit. I don't even think MetaMask was even up and running during 2016. Like there was nothing, dude. No Access wallet, no Trust. There was nothing. Like we were basically using janky paper wallets, and this is why like a lot of what ended up happening is that most people just started leaving their money in exchanges because you shouldn't have, but I kind of understood the usability level was extremely. It took an extremely high level of like. I mean, I bet you if we were around during the time we could have taught it, but like it was to the point where like it was so not user friendly and stuff. So I totally understand why people kept most of their funds on exchanges and stuff. It's a very bad habit because obviously what caused the bottom of the previous cycle and the one before you came in was obviously Mt. Gox getting hacked and then I can't remember if Bitcoin went to like $100, but it must have gone to like $100 or $200 because they hit a G, I think, right?
Yeah, well, I missed the amount. I came after that, I believe. Yeah, I didn't even hear about Mt. Gox till I didn't even know about it probably my first year of crypto at all.
That's great.
Yeah. I remember I was using actually wallets on the phone, on the smartphone. Like,
okay.
You mean you had Bread Wallet, you had Airbits. Have you ever heard of Airbits? Which later turned into like Edge or something. But actually, Airbits allowed you to buy through the app, which is kind of cool. And they had higher limits than Coinbase.
Interesting.
So I did some buys through there.
I literally never used it.
Yeah. They had a little fee, but not too bad. And especially when Bitcoin kept doubling every other week.
Right.
It wasn't bad.
I do remember a certain point in time when we were buying these coins, the fee was pretty ridiculous, even on Coinbase. But like they were going up so much that you're like, well, it's just paying the tax, whatever, to kind of get in. But I'm kind of glad now that you guys shouldn't be complaining too much about fees on Coinbase or on Kraken because they were ridiculous back in the day. It was pretty pretty ridiculous and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting.
Didn't they even have withdrawal fees? Like if you want to just withdraw to another wallet or to like
they might have
like a cold wallet, they were charging you a fee just to take your money out.
Yeah, I think you didn't have a fee to like they never withheld your funds, but like they charged you to withdraw and I think Binance and a couple of like KuCoin still does that right now. But it's kind of a crazy thing. Like even Bread Wallet, like you were talking about, that was bought by Coinbase recently. Like early last year, they've completely sold out to Coinbase, which is interesting. But yeah, man. So obviously, why do you call yourself Super Hex? What an interesting name, man.
Okay, let's tell the story.
Yeah.
So I spent some time in the Philippines, and I'm a foreigner, light skin, and I was working out pretty good, and the girls like to call me Superman.
No.
So I just kept I just took the man out and just put Super Hex. That's just where it came from.
He was like, the bitch is forced me. The horse has created me.
That's literally where that kind of originated. So, we would just mess around all the time.
Yeah.
When I was on there, Superman. They would say like, "Well, what's your name?" I say, "Oh, I'm Superman," and they thought it was funny. So
that is hilarious.
We did. That's where that came from, and just kind of stuck with it, but just converted over to Hex, Super Hex.
Right. So you basically get in 2015. You start because your dad. You start buying just direct Bitcoin instead of the company your dad was kind of messing around with at the time, and then you start investing into Ethereum. You ride the whole bull market. You go down. So what happened in 2018? Like once that drop started happening, what like came across your head? Like why didn't you sell or what was your thought? Because I know obviously this is like talking to somebody now that has an incredible amount of experience.
You know what probably what it was everybody saying it's going to 100,000 even back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's what it was. And I was like, oh, limited supply. Barely anybody knows about it. Like it's going to 100,000. It's gonna hold.
Yeah, there's like, what was it? There's 28 million millionaires on the planet. If you have one Bitcoin, dude, that was the bro. If you own
0.23, you're gonna be the top 1%
of the world population and stuff. And actually, it's even crazier, bro, because some people are holding even more supply than that's if it's fairly distributed. Like, dude, like the amount of like. Bro, they were people don't understand. 2017, they were so good with it. There's never been a level of like these myths. Like it's incredible. Like one day 4 Litecoin will equal 1 Bitcoin, bro. It's gonna happen. The pegging or the happening or whatever.
And I was like pretty BTC maxi then. I mean, I was into Ethereum, but not like as hard. So I was pretty BTC maxi. I had like I played with some other altcoins, but barely.
Yeah.
Like, and if I did get into them, like, it was very short lived.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I did lose some money on some, but like, all I wanted to do was, all in my head was stack as much Bitcoin as I can. That's all I was doing, just stack more, stack more, stack more, stack more.
No, I feel you on that. Like, honestly, I've told most people this: if you just bought whatever you could have bought on like Coinbase in the beginning of 2017, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, how did you not make money? It was insane. Like when Litecoin went from like, let's call it a quarter to $420. Ethereum went from a quarter to like $1,400. Bitcoin went from, let's just call it like, depending when you got in, like $200, $500, $1,000. It went to 20 G's. You got a 20x, a Jesus Christ, and like not too shabby. Like, damn. On the three main tokens. But that's when like crypto was more concentrated. Now there's so many like vectors and there wasn't stable coins and shit. Like it wasn't, but so you held that down. It started going down and stuff. And then
so we went down, right? From 20K down to like 3,500, if I'm right. And then didn't you have that kind of, what was that Ponzi scheme pump to like 14K?
BitMEX? No, not BitMEX. What's it called?
It was like there was like some Ponzi scheme or something, and it went up
one token.
Yeah, it went up to 14K, right?
Glorious.
Everybody thought, oh, the bull run's going, and then that collapsed. And then you had like the COVID thing right after that, I think.
Yep.
I remember. So I remember during the COVID dip, I was actually scared. I remember that. Yeah. So that's why, like today, I can use my like these past things for what we're dealing with right now today.
Right.
So I remember I was scared in that time, and then look what happened. Bitcoin went to $69,000. Right. So, I mean, when you go back to what we were talking about earlier, the first thing is you got to put your time in. Yeah. Like there's people who just got into crypto 3 months ago and they're pissed. They're mad because they're not rich yet. It's like I've been here for 8 years and I went through ups and downs. Like I felt rich and then I was poor again. And I felt rich and I was poor. It's like it's these cycles.
It happens. And then on top of that too, a lot of these guys are like they're 18 or 25 and stuff. And then you got some crazy dudes that are like they just got into crypto at 45, 50 and stuff, and they're like gambling with like, and I call it gambling because it's not investing. When you're like when you start getting in that age and you're playing around with the house money, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you got kids, bro. What the fuck are you doing? You know,